Welcome everyone to our second week of Over and Under, where we try to help you beat these sports bookies. Before we get started, I'd like to ask everyone to please hit the like button and subscribe to help us build our channel. We definitely need subscribers. It's free. A lot of people act like it's costing them something to subscribe. No, you're just helping a couple of poor souls out, and we need some help, that's for sure. So help us build our channel. Subscribe, hit the like button, share if you would, and get the word out. Last week we didn't do too bad. I ended up being 9-7. That's picking the spread. So we had a decent week. Hopefully this week we're going to get better. Justin had a rough week, but I think he's going to bounce back this week.
Hopefully.
Well, before we get started here on this week's game, I want to let you know about Thursday night's game, which was a great night for me. I got a great pick. I picked Kansas City and under. Kansas City ended up winning, luckily, and they kept it under 54, so I hit. And I actually gave that out on Facebook, which I'm going to do every Thursday night game. I'm going to give my picks out on Facebook. That way it'll help you get a good start. So we got a good start if you follow me and took my advice on Thursday. So let's keep the momentum rolling. And we're going to start with today's first game with Tampa Bay versus New Orleans. And this is an awesome game. It's a divisional game. Tom Brady's went 0-4 the last 2 years against New Orleans, and I don't look for it to change. I'm going to go ahead and take New Orleans. They're favored by, they're underdogs by 2.5 points. I'm going to go ahead and take New Orleans and the 2.5 points, and hopefully we'll win.
I'm going to go the opposite on this one. Defensively, last week held the Cowboys to 3 points. They beat them in all facets of the game. I think that's going to continue this week. So I'm going to take Tampa Bay with over.
That's not a bad pick. Alvin Kamara is questionable, so he's got some bruised ribs, I think. So hopefully he'll play. I hate seeing him sit on the sidelines, but I'm going to go ahead and stay with my pick. I'm going to take New Orleans to upset Tampa Bay this week. And we'll go ahead and move on. Our next game is New England at Pittsburgh. And New England is actually favored by 2.5 points. Why? I have no clue. I have no confidence in Mac Jones whatsoever. I know Bill Belichick, he rarely ever starts out 0-2, but I look for him to start out 0-2. I'm going to go ahead and take the Pittsburgh Steelers to upset the New England Patriots and take them 2.5 points.
I'm going to go the opposite again. Bill Belichick, he'll have his team ready this week. If anybody's learned about watching them throughout the years, excuse me, he'll have that team ready. I think they bounce back this week. Trubisky had a good game last week. I don't think he continues that this week. So I'm going to take New England this week in the money line.
Our next game is Miami versus Baltimore. This should be a hell of a game. I like Miami. I think they've made some gigantic leaps forward and building that team, making it a competitive team. Baltimore, we know, is already competitive. They got Lamar Jackson. You know he's going to show out. He doesn't have his contract yet, so I look for him to show out today. However, I'm going to go ahead and take Miami. I'm sticking with Miami. I don't know why I'm on the Miami bandwagon, but I am. I'm taking Miami and giving me the 3.5 points. The over and under is 44. So I would probably take the over on this. I think they're going to go over 44.5 points. So either way, you can take Miami and the points, or take Miami straight up and the over. Or if you like Baltimore, I would take Baltimore in the over. But I'm going to go ahead and take Miami and the over.
The 44.5 seems very, very low to me. I think that's going to be a shootout. I'm going to go with the over on the points there. And I'm going to go the opposite of Brian. I'm going to take Baltimore here. They're at home. Lamar Jackson had a wonderful game last week on the road. First game of the year at home. I think he's going to continue that this week. So I'm going to take Baltimore at home on the money line.
That's probably what's going to end up happening. I'm just going to stay on this Miami bandwagon. Our next game is a revenge game, the Indianapolis Colts against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And remember last year the Colts were in the playoffs. If they beat the Jags, They ended up getting beat by the Jags, so I know it's going to be a revenge game, like I said, for the Colts. That's why I'm calling it Colts revenge game. However, the Colts have a couple receivers out. Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman are not going to play, and also their star linebacker Shaq Leonard is not going to be playing. So I'm going to go ahead. I don't think the trend's going to stop. I'm going to go ahead and take the Jacksonville Jaguars against the Colts. And the 3 points.
I'm going to have to go the opposite on this one. There's holdovers from last year. Jags put the Colts out last game of the year. They're going to remember that. They're going to have a chip on their shoulder. Division game. I think this is going to be a close one, but I think Matt Ryan will have a good game this week, and I'm going to take the Colts on the money line.
And I'm actually rooting for the Colts. I'm a Colts fan, but I just don't see it. I didn't like the way they played against Texas last week. So hopefully they'll stay the same, and my pick will stand. So let's move on to the next game: the Jets versus the Cleveland Browns, and Cleveland is -6.5, and the over/under is 39.5. In this game here, I like Cleveland. They got a great running game with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. I know their quarterback ain't there yet. He's on his way in about 9 more games, I think it is. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and take Cleveland and give up the 6.5. I don't think the Jets are going to do anything. Joe Flacco, to me, is a bum. I don't like him as a quarterback, and I don't see the Jets. The offensive line is destroyed as well. I don't see the Jets scoring very many points. So I'm going to go ahead and take Cleveland, and I'm going to take under 39.5.
I'm going to have to agree with that one. They got some injuries on that offensive line. That Cleveland defense is going to get to Joe Flacco consistently this game, I think. Cleveland had a good game last week. They're at home. I'm going to take Cleveland on the money line with this one.
That's a good pick. Let's move on to our next game, which would be Washington versus Detroit. Detroit's favored by 1.5. Detroit played a great game last week against Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a pretty decent squad, I think. And, I like Detroit. Detroit, like I said, last year Detroit covered more than anybody in the NFL. So I'm going to go ahead and stick with Detroit. Carson Wentz is Washington's quarterback. He had 2 picks last week. I look for him to have a couple more this week. I'm going to go ahead and stick with Detroit and the 1.5, and the over and under is 48. I'm almost going to guarantee that it's going to be under 48 this week. So I'll take Detroit and under 48 and give up the 1.5.
I feel like that 48's a little bit low there. Although I feel like there's going to be some turnovers in this game. The 1.5, pretty much a pick'em game. I want to stick with Detroit at home, though. I think Carson Wentz, very bad decision making, and as he's getting older, it's not getting any better. So he's kind of stuck in his ways, I feel like. But I'm going to take Detroit at home with this one.
That's a good pick. All right, let's move on to our next game. We got Atlanta Falcons versus the Los Angeles Rams, and the Rams are actually giving up 10 points. That's a lot of points.
That's a lot of points.
I hate a 10-point. I hate to give up 10 points or give 10 points. Either way, I hate that. So I'm going to go ahead and just bet the money line and take the Rams. Over and under is 46.5. I'm going to go ahead and go over with this one. I'm going to take the Rams and over 45.
Well, we can rant and rave about last week. Lackluster performance by the Rams. Very disappointing for the Rams. Fans out there. They're at home, second game. I think they have a bounce back game. I feel like this one is going to be closer than that 10. The 10 points is a lot of points in any professional football game. But I'm going to take the Rams. I'm going to go the money line on this one. But the Rams at home, I think they turned around. They showed some weaknesses in week 1 that I feel like Atlanta's going to exploit, but I still think the Rams pulls this game out at home.
What do you like in the over and under? 46.5 is what it is actually.
On that one, I would take the under on that one. I feel like the Rams are going to score. They didn't score much last week, but the Bills, of course, are probably the favorite to win the Super Bowl.
You know, I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back on that as well. I'm going to follow your advice on this and take the under because I think the Rams defense is going to come there today and shut Atlanta completely down.
I think they're going to show up this week.
I'm going to go ahead and change that to Rams money line because I hate giving up 10 points. Rams money line at under 46.5. All right, our next game is Seattle versus 49ers. Seattle's coming off a win against Denver at home. And 49ers are coming off a big loss to my beloved Bears on the road. And he made that pick last week. Give you guys that one. He did great. That was an awesome pick. Shocked the shit out of me, but I was gleefully shocked because I'm a Bears fan. But this week's game is going to be basically the same as last week's for the 49ers. It's like a 98% chance of rain. And Trey Lance looked horrible against the Bears in the rain last week. But I'm still going to go ahead and take the 49ers. I'm not giving up no 9.5 points, and I'm not giving 9.5 points to nobody.
That's a lot of
so
points.
I'm going to go ahead and take the money line. I'm going to take the 49ers since it's rain, monsoon. I don't see a ton of points scored. That's why it's so low, 40.5. And like I said, Seattle's going to be on the road. They don't have that 12th man backing them up in Seattle. So it's going to be a little bit tougher for them to score this week. So I'm going to go ahead and take the 49ers and the 49ers defense to shut Seattle down completely, and hopefully that'll hit.
I'm going to agree with you on that one. I think it's going to be a rainy game. They performed horribly last week at Chicago. 49ers are at home, though, this week. I think they're going to pull this one out. It's going to be a low-scoring affair. 49ers, of course, have the stronger defense. The 40 points, I think there's going to be more than 40 points. Not much, but if I would go with the under on the 40 points. But my betting I would take the 49ers on the money line this week.
All right. Well, let's move on to our next game, which is the Arizona Cardinals versus the Raiders, the Nevada Raiders. And I tell you what, the Cardinals looked horrible last week against Kansas City. They didn't look good at all. The Raiders, to me, look good. They played – hey, the Chargers are a tough team. They almost won that game against the Chiefs the other night, Thursday night. I mean, actually, they should have won it, a pick six, and if that doesn't happen, they win that game. So I think the Raiders are a good team. They're going to be good. They're going to get their wins this year. I'm going to go ahead and take the Raiders. The over and under is 51.5. I'm going to stay away from that. I'm going to go ahead and take the Raiders and give up the 5.5 is what I'm going to do on this week's game.
I'm going to have to agree with Brian on that one. Raiders played a very, very close game with the Chargers last week. Derek Carr made some bad decisions, 3 interceptions. I think he cleans that up this week. I also think Kyler Murray shows up a little bit in this game. I think that's affecting that the money line at 5.5 points there. 51 points is a lot of points. I think I'm going to stay away with that one, away from that one too. But I am taking the Raiders at home.
All right, let's move on to our next game, Houston versus Denver. I don't know, last week Houston shocked me. I mean, completely. They had the Colts beat. They really did. They lost in late by 3, but they look good. Mills is their quarterback. They're rated as one of the worst teams in the NFL, but they had a decent week last week. They're playing Denver, who's coming off a loss to Seattle. Russell Wilson, to me, played awesome. He had 340 yards passing. They just made a couple bad choices. Their coaching staff did, as far as I'm concerned. Second half, Denver's defense did look well. They played decent. I think they're going to show out up in Denver. No doubt in my mind, they're going to show out. Russell Wilson's going to show out. He's going to have, to me, another 300-yard game. No doubt in my mind. He always has fast starts and he kind of slows down later on in the season. But anyway, they're giving up 9.5. I'm staying away from that. The over and under is 45.5. I'm staying away from that. Here's my parlay for the week. I'm taking Denver money line and Russell Wilson to have over 300 yards passing.
That's a good pick. I'd agree with that. I could talk for hours about decision-making, penalties, rookie head coach for Denver. Russell Wilson had a solid game. Denver's defense had a wonderful game in the second half, shutting out the Seahawks. Russell Wilson has to step up and be a leader this week. Several penalties killed Denver last week, probably cost them the game, actually. Excuse me. I think they'll clean that up. But he's got to be a leader. Denver. I'm gonna take Denver at home at Mile High on this. Denver at home on the money line.
That's a good bet. I like it. All right, our next bet is our beloved Chicago Bears against the Packers. What a game. 100-year-old rivalry, man. And, you know, I've seen some wild things happen in this, but I haven't seen them since Rodgers been quarterback. Rodgers has owned us, man. He has whooped our ass through and through, week, year after year. I mean, he has done a tremendous job against the Chicago Bears, and I don't see any of that changing whatsoever. They lost last week. They're going to come out, and they're going to come out smoking. And they're giving up 10 points. The over-and-under is 41.5. I'm going to go ahead and take the Packers in this, which I hate to because I love the Bears. But I'm taking the Packers and over 41.5.
How about I want to take the Bears again this week? I can't. Another week for Aaron Rodgers to gel with his rookie receivers. They're at home in Lambeau. Like Brian said, they've owned the Bears. 10 points, a lot of points. I think I'm gonna stay away from that. I'm just gonna take the Packers straight up on the money line with this at home.
All righty, let's move on to our next game, which is Tennessee Titans versus the Buffalo Bills. Remember last year, Tennessee beat the Bills. Buffalo came up short on a quarterback sneak, and the Bills ended up losing that game. This week, the Bills are favored by 10 points. The over-and-under is 47.5. Tennessee lost their wide receiver, A.J. Brown, right? I mean, but they still got that monster of a running back there. I don't see them beating the Bills, however. But I don't like the 10 points in the game. I'm going to go ahead and take the Bills, and I'm going to take the Bills, and I'm just going to take the money line Bills. I'm going to stay away from parlay on this one.
I'm going to agree with you that one. This is going to be a very, very good game. Bills put it on the Rams last week, and it wasn't even close. I see them continuing that this week. They're at home. I'm going to take Josh Allen. He showed why he's the favorite to be the most valuable player this year. So I'm going to take that spread's a big spread. I think Derrick Henry's going to be Derrick Henry this week, so that's going to slow that game down a little bit. But the Bills are at home. I'm going to take the Bills on the money line.
Yeah, Bills are home, and also number one defense last year. The Bills, no-name defense. Not a single one that made the Pro Bowl. Can you believe it? How does the number one defense not have one single player make a Pro Bowl? Blew my mind. But anyway, yeah, Bills are tough, and they're gonna stay on that winning side. They're gonna win. There ain't no doubt in my mind they're gonna win this week. But like I said, I don't like the 10 points with either given or getting. I hate that.
That's a lot of points.
The 47.5 is quite a bit. If Tennessee runs the ball, you never know what they're going to do. But, yeah, that's a great bet, just the Bills' money line. All righty, let's move on to our last game, which is Minnesota Vikings versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Last week, the Vikings looked awesome. Justin Jefferson showed out. He really did. Kirk Cousins played a killer game, too, for a change. Hopefully he'll stay that way with that new coach. You know, they might be on the same page, and this might be Kirk Cousins' breakout year. You never know. Philadelphia played Detroit in Detroit. They ended up winning 38-35, I think it was.
Shootout.
Yeah, it was a shootout. Philadelphia is actually favored by 2 points. So that's basically a pick'em game. I'm going to go ahead and stick with my Vikings. They pulled it out for me last week. I picked the Vikings against the Packers. They pulled it out. I look for them to upset the Eagles on the road. I'm taking the Vikings and the 2.5. Over and under is 50.5. I'm going to stay away from that and just take the Vikings. I'm going to take the Vikings 2 points. And I'm going to take Jefferson to have over 70 yards receiving. That's going to be on parlay.
That's a good pick. Eagles played stellar last week. Kind of let off the pedal at the end of the game, but I see this week they're at home. I think they continue that high-octane offense led by Jalen Hurts. That's a lot of points with 50.5. I don't think it's going to be that high-scoring of a game. The Eagles are at home, though. I think I'm going to take the Philadelphia Eagles and the money line.
All right, that was our last pick. So before we head out of here, please, I want to remind everybody to hit the like button and subscribe. Help us build this channel. We have a real short goal right now, and that's to get 100 subscribers. So let's do that. Let's get 100 subscribers by next Sunday. Can we do that? So good luck to everybody. Hope you all picked the right picks. Hope we gave you great advice. See you next week.